Welcome to our Let's Make It for October, and we are going to be making some awesome bowl cozies. So those are things that you can put your bowl in and slide into the microwave and pull out without burning your hands. So those are really cool. So to get started, you're going to open up your package, and it's got two different kinds of material. So you have like an inside and an outside. It can be different patterns, and you're just getting the luck of the draw which ones that you get. I just wanted to show you as well, we have Wrap and Zap, and this is a kind of filling that's 100% cotton, and you can use in the microwave. So it's 100% natural cotton batting. So you're going to need something to cut with, so you might want scissors. If you happen to do any quilting or anything, you may actually have a rotary cutter. I like to use those when I'm doing this project. You're going to need something to measure with. You might have a nice measuring tape. Or again, if you happen to be a quilter, you may have a quilter's ruler. What I like about this, not only has the measurements, but a nice straight edge for when you're marking and cutting. I also would recommend that you have something to mark your material with when we're doing the inner cuts. I'm going to actually use a highlighter. I think it's going to show up a little better for you when I'm showing you what we were going to be doing. Normally I wouldn't use a highlighter on my material, but in this case we will. So you're going to end up getting 2 pieces of cotton and 2 pieces of our cotton batting, and you're going to place one on top, and we're going to take it to the sewing machine, and we are going to sew a big X on this one, and then we will do it on our other one as well. But what I'd like to do as well, because we're going to be sewing in these directions, I'm just going to throw a pin in here just to keep my material steady, and I'm going to do that on all 4 sides. Something I didn't have with me today, you may have at home instead, are clips instead of pins. Whatever it is you use, that is just fine. Once we have our X on our material, we are going to fold them in half, and I kind of like to stick my finger inside to make sure that the material isn't all bunched. And we are going to place a pin up top. Okay, so on our short edge, we are going to measure over 1 inch. And I said with the yellow, I think you'll be better able to see it. We're going to come down 2 inches on the side, and we will end up sewing along here. So I'm just going to throw a few dots on there to guide us. And we're going to do that on the opposite end. So I'm going to flip that around, and again, I'm going to poke my finger in there and just give that material a nice pull. Throw in another pin to keep everything nice and steady. And here I'm going to measure 1 inch across and 2 inches down. And we are going to basically sew along there. Now at this point, we are going to cut off this excess piece on either side. You certainly do not want to cut on that line. You can use your straight edge if you're using a rotary cutter. And the nice thing about this is you can see that you're not going to cut the seam. So we're just going to give it a cut like that. Didn't quite go through as I pulled, so I'm going to go over it one more time. If you don't have a rotary cutter, that's okay. You can just use your scissors and try to cut close to it. You don't want too much bulk going on. And we're going to take out our pins, and we are going to open this up and fold it in the opposite direction. So now our little points are going to sort of match up. And now we're going to, again, make sure our fabric is tucked in there nicely. And we're going to place a pin here. I'm going to do the same on the other side. We're going to tuck our material and pin that. And once again, we are going to do the measuring of 1 inch across and 2 inches down. So I'll mark those. We've got 1 inch and we've got 2 inches. So flip it around and we'll do the same here. So 1 and 2. Here we go again. And I like to just put in the needle in first before I get started. So once again, we are going to trim off that excess. And like I said, we can do one of two ways, either with our cutter or once again with our scissors. And now this is what it's going to look like a little bowl. And we are going to do the exact same thing for our other piece of cotton fabric and cotton lining, and poof, what do you know, we have one handy dandy and ready to go. Now what we're going to have to do is we're going to turn this one, doesn't matter, one of them inside out or right side out, and we're going to have our two colored pieces of material that are going to sit together. So I'm going to pop them in, and this is where we're going to need our pins to line everything up as we go along. You want to have enough space to be able to turn it inside out, but you also want to catch your corners and your darts together, so you don't really want it in there. So like I say, with the extra pins in here, I know I'm going to start here, work my way around, and then I'm going to end there. And I'm also going to make sure to like back stitch or lock stitch it so it doesn't come apart when I turn it inside out. So back to the machine we go, and this is where I wanted to have an opening. So I'm going to start about there, and by doing that, remove that pin and do a few stitches in that direction, and I'm going to back them up to lock it so it doesn't come apart on me when I start going. We know we've just hit a corner, so we're actually going to turn our fabric. And make sure you don't go over your pins. Good way to wreck your machine. And again, we know we're coming up to a dart. So once we get to the dart, we are just going to shift our material a wee bit. I can feel there's a pin there, so I'm going to pull it back somewhat. Presser foot. Again, I'm at a dart, so I'm probably going to have to turn my fabric again a wee bit. Drop the presser foot. Just take out my pin, just getting close there. Again, I'm at a dart, so I'm going to just lift and turn. To a corner. Again, we need to lift and turn. And we're just going to go a little ways because we need to leave an opening. Now, if you've got big corners, you might want to trim some of those off so there's not too much bulk going around. Slide over. I'm just going to give it a little trim. So like I said, I don't want too much bulk on the corners. We don't want to cut that seam that we just finished sewing. And then it's like, oh my goodness, where did we leave the opening? There we go. Nope, nope, nope. I know I didn't sew it completely. Question is, where? Oh, the last one, right? So we have an opening and we are going to turn it inside out. Okay, so once we have this turned inside out with a little bit of elbow grease, we are going to fold in this seam that we just brought everything through. I'm going to throw a pin in there. And we are going to sew a seam all the way around to finish this off. And when we have it like this, you'll be able to see once it's finished, it's actually reversible. You can either use it with the green side or the little hearts. And again, you're going to want to kind of move your material as we hit the darts. Our open space is we want to make sure to catch everything, but we don't want to catch our pin. So the pin's out. Again, we're going to we're at a dart. Just moving it over a wee bit. Now we've already come full circle, so I'm just going to back it up to lock it and cut. So now we have our bowl cozy, And like you say, actually, with it being the color it is, you almost want to turn it inside out, because if you're anything like me, when you put stuff in the microwave, it likes to boil over. And instead you can pop your item, your bowl, could even be your mug, pop it in there, pop it in the microwave. And if you join us in early December for our What's On, we're actually going to make something that's going to be able to be put in your bowl. So hopefully you'll be looking out for that.